Check 1 2, in the place to be, family. This is Tim. I want to say great NIA to all of you, especially to those that are NIA born. Shots out. We're clapping our hands for you. Also, we want to lift up and applaud all of the Umoja born, because we are in the week of Umoja. And I have to be very honest with you. I am very late on this one. I am still in transition. I'm moving, and I was lifting and pulling and pushing some stuff, and I had my Tai Chi practice yesterday, and I just was, yeah. When it came 3 o'clock, didn't look that attractive to me this morning. 4:30 didn't look that attractive to me this morning. 6 o'clock didn't look that attractive to me this morning. So I'm up and I'm doing it now. But I'm up and I'm making sure I'm doing the show. So I think one of the things I am going to do is I am going to keep it to where I am doing the show on the day of rather than the day before. Now, let me say why. Because first off, it allows me to really get in depth with the principle of the day, because I'm actually on that day. There's no confusion, because I've been sometimes I'll be confused doing the day in advance. I like doing the day in advance, but once again, I actually like the way this is coming off. And you already know, brother, tell me scared of change. It's how change comes. But I need to be honest with y'all, family. So once again, just a recap for the new people that may be listening. If you are listening and you are new to the culture, you are new to Giammi, you are new to the Daily Spark, your goal is very simply, right? Listen to me, very simply, to practice the principle for today. The principle for today is NIA. We're giving the NIA babies a round of applause. Principle today is NIA, right? And I want you to just observe how you are living on purpose, how other people are living their purpose, how your community is acting in purpose or on accident, or where purpose is lacking, how your organizations are. You see how it works, right? But also, I want you to magnify that and focus on you and your purpose, right? Or maybe the lack thereof. Now, for those of you who are advanced, I want you to go to the next level. I want you to look at Umoja through the lens of NIA. You understand what I'm saying, right? How does purpose work inside of Umoja? How does purpose make Umoja more effective, right? Those of you on level number 2. And those of you that are on level number 3, that have been around Giammi, have been to some of the events, have been talking about the Gusa, celebrate Kwanzaa, you've been coming, you've been volunteering, you know some of the lore. I want you to go 3D. I want you not only to focus on the principle of the day, I want you to focus on the principle of the week, but I want you to throw in the cycle, the principle of the cycle of this period that we are in, and that is Ujamaa, right? So now, how does purpose or NIA, right, work within Umoja, right? And on a larger scale, how does Umoja make Ujamaa more effective? Now, for those OGs, some of you elders that have been studying, some of y'all that speak the multiple languages and got the symbology down and might be doing the hieroglyphics or the metuneta or metunecha, as some would say, right? Those of you who have been doing this for a long time, take some time and go to the next level. All right? We talked about it on the personal level, on the day. We are on the NIA, day of NIA, right? You want to see how you want to look at Umoja through the lens of NIA, and how NIA can make Umoja more successful. Then you want to look and see how Umoja and NIA can make Ujamaa more successful. And I want you looking for all these in the world. But then now, I want you to pop the year on there for the U advance. And the year is Ujamaa. And you figure out how to do that because you've been around long enough. So we want to give all of y'all a round of applause. Let's get it popping. I am 5 minutes in, and I have not even told you, I have not said yet. Like, subscribe, share, and most importantly, comment, because the only way we grow is if we grow. And we got to have discussion, right? We got to stop acting like we know everything, and we got to start having the discussion, right? Throwing out our thoughts, comparing them, measuring them, and discussing. Now, so, getting to today's show, family, man, for some reason, slavery and plantation life has been on my mind. I could tell you really why, but I won't waste your time with that. But it's really, really been heavy on my mind. But into that, I want to share the proverb of the day. It's an oldie but a goodie, right? The write-up will be popping up on our Telegram, and it is, when elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. When elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. And that kind of fits the time we are in with what you see going on in the world, and maybe even going on in your community right now. But, and the ancestral algorithm for this NIA day is, my NIA is my North Star. I am never lost. My NIA is my North Star. I am never lost. All right? So, one more time. My NIA is my North Star. I am never lost. And I woke up thinking about plantation life, thinking about the slavery experience, and wanting to make some comparisons between our modern life and plantation life, right? And then I stumble on the algorithm of the day, which says, my NIA is my North Star. I am never lost. For those of you who are down in the lore of our people, especially those of us born in North America, the North Star has a very, very strong symbolic meaning for us. The North Star is what some of our ancestors followed to freedom. The North Star was a sign of freedom. The North Star has always, for us here, has always been a sign for freedom. In fact, I need to do some mythology around it. So I wanted to talk about this life because, once again, when we look at NIA is about purpose, right? Now, purpose could work for you, or purpose can work against you. When you are working on your purpose and you are clear that it is your purpose and that is what you were brought here for, miracles happen. What is for you is yours, right? I ain't gonna say there ain't gonna be no struggle, but when you are operating in NIA, right? Things happen to you on NIA. When you are operating in purpose, things happen to you on purpose, right? The universe conspires to make you successful, right? But Brother Hatim, how could that be bad? Because some of us are operating in purpose that don't belong to us. So the purpose that we are operating is blessing someone else. So we got to understand how this energy that we call life, this life force works, right? The life force is a beautiful and a powerful thing, but you can't take possession of others' life force and have them direct their life force to empower in your life. I don't think they heard me, Anime. I don't think y'all heard me. Others can take your life force and plug it into their purpose and move and use your energy to build their lives. And that's what's been happening to us. That's what slavery is about. Slavery was about taking other people's life force and directing it and guiding it towards someone else's ends. Right now, many of you are in a plantation situation where your purpose is being guided towards someone else's ends. I know some of us don't want to hear it. I know it. I know it. Shots fired. Shots fired, Brother Hatim. Shots fired. Family. We are dealing with something that is very simple, but at the same time very complex. Right? You don't become a billionaire because you have a powerful personality and very lucky. No, you guide other people's other people's life force towards your goals, which rewards you. Life rewards you. You understand? Now, you can also do the same thing with being of service, right? Being of service with somebody. You're helping somebody else move towards their purpose. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what happens to many of us is we have confused trading our time for money for us being able to live, when in fact we have only been able to survive. We are not guiding our NIA. We are not guiding our life force towards our NIA. We're not feeding our NIA. Therefore, we suffer. As individuals, as families, as tribes, as cities, as states, and as nations. Others are guiding our energy. All right, now, but hold on. So, Brother Hatim, I got haikus on it because I was really thinking about this shit this morning. And this was part of the issue of me getting up, because I had a dream about some people. I had two strange dreams. First off, I went to a universe. This is crazy. I was in a universe where individuals believed that the comic book characters, or actually wasn't, they believed in the comic book characters. Right? The comic book characters were the deities. They ran shit. It was like, they had temples and all. It was crazy. Right? And all the shit that we thought was real was comic. I want you to think about that shit. And they was arguing about which one of their superheroes would win. Type shit. Like, whoa, okay. But then the other strange dream was I was trying to work with a group who were trying to be part of an organization that didn't really want them. And they were trying to force themselves on this organization. And no matter what they did, it would always not work out well. Right? So it was kind of hard for me to sleep because I'm trying to get, look. What you're doing is not working. It's not you, it's them. You're spending your energy, you're spending your ashe, your life force on the wrong. But anyway, now, so when I woke up, I was like, damn, wow, okay, why am I dreaming about that? But then I thought back. Of course, I got to give y'all the history. This is why Brother Hatim need a script. Put the pistol down. So I saw a video. I follow certain groups and shit. I need to know what the others are doing out there, right? And there was a video where a dude gave you 10 simple facts about life, right? And the first fact was that you was born in a prison. I said, whoa. I could dig it. But because his culture has not been through the struggle that my culture has been, right? Of course, he would use prison, right? So I said, damn, what if our lives are like plantation lives? What if we never really left the plantation? So let me give you my haikus, and then we're going to get into this discussion, and then I'm going to let y'all go. Plantation living has never really left us. It just I can't read. It just wears disguise. My fault. Plantation living has never really left us. It just wears disguise. Now, that man haikuing. That man, I don't care what. That man haikuing. So then I went into the chain simply morphed into debt and depression, which hold forever. That man haikuing. Final one for the day. The cash crop has changed from tobacco and cotton into your life force. That man haikuing. So here are some ways that, because I had a discussion with the AI, right? I had a discussion with AI. I didn't put it through Baba AI because I didn't want it to get super deep, right? I wanted to look at what this thing said. Here are 10 ways modern life can be compared to living on a plantation. Consider your economic dependence, where huge portions of the population are trapped in low-wage jobs with little security, making them entirely reliant on their employer for survival, similar to how enslaved people relied on the plantation for basic needs. Second, there is the concept of surveillance and control, where modern technology and management systems monitor every move, reminiscent of how overseers monitored the labor of enslaved workers. Third, you have the centralization of wealth, where a small elite hold the majority of the assets, sucking up your life force, mirroring how plantation owners accumulated vast fortunes on the backs of others. Fourth, there is the limitation of mobility and autonomy, where economic realities or legal restrictions make it difficult for many to change their living or working conditions. How many of y'all done ran into that or had a family member that ran into some shit like that? Fifth, consider the psychological impact, where constant financial stress and feelings of being trapped create a form of mental bondage similar to the mental control exerted over enslaved populations. How many of y'all got individuals in your life that go to a place that they hate and work around people they hate every day, but they do it and they have to do it? Like somebody was standing over them with a whip. Some of y'all listening might have to do that or survive that. So, 6, there's an aspect of disposability where workers are treated as replaceable commodities to be replaced whenever they are no longer deemed profitable. Goddamn. I don't think did y'all hear that one? Disposability? Not only are we disposable, but everything around us is disposable. Let me stop. 7, you can look at the lack of legal recourse, where systematic biases make it challenging for disadvantaged groups to seek justice against powerful entities. Now, let me give you an example where I'm dealing with this. I have questions about this goddamn test that they have our kids taking. I'm wondering, what is it measuring and why? And I'm also wondering who grades it. What are the creation methods for making this test? How does this test prepare our young people to be able to serve the communities that they live in? Right? But I don't have any legal recourse. I don't even know who to ask. The people that are supposed to know who to ask don't even know who to ask, or may even be scared to formulate the questions because their livelihood is based on it. I want to know who's getting paid for this goddamn test that we believe is measuring how intelligent our children are, and then let me stop. I'm rambling. Eighth, there is the normalization of inequality, where deep economic and social divides are accepted as just the way things are, much like the acceptance of the plantation system. Do y'all remember in Sinners the argument between the twins and the dark-skinned beauty that was kicking it with the twin, the one that was doing the hoodoo, right? Because one of the twins accepted the plantation money. And the argument was, we can't accept that. We can't spend that. Right? But the other said, that's all they got. That's all they know. You know what I'm saying? We'll build, right? So is a divide there. There's a plantation system, and there's an acceptance of it. A reality, right? There's a reality that hits you, right? That you are trapped. These people want to have a good time. They're looking for a release. They was looking for a release in that movie. And the only thing they had was wood nickels. Literally. I want a drink. I need to get a... All he had was wood nickels. That's it. Wow. But hey, there's a normalization of inequality. Normalization. We normalize this shit. It's normal. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Remember? All right. Ninth, consider the division of labor where specific groups are designated for mental or dangerous tasks while others reap the benefits. Harnessing life force, putting people in danger so that you and your group can advance. Finally, there's an aspect of alienation where individuals are isolated from one another and from the fruits of their labor, similar to how enslaved people were often separated from their communities. There is an aspect of alienation. Think about what is happening with social. I mean, this shit is intense. It's more intense. The chains are just, they morphed. The cash crop has morphed. And many of us think that we are living our best lives when in fact, I have heard that when TikTok was down, a group of people got onto the Chinese app and saw how people was living in China and lost their goddamn mind. Because we have been alienated from the rest of the world. So we think that we're living the best lives. I tell you, when I went to Ghana, people didn't have the material things that we had, but in many ways there was a freedom there that I couldn't possibly imagine over here. There was a spirit over there, even with all the white Jesuses, and I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? There was issues. Don't get me wrong, but there was a freedom there that I never experienced here, and that I saw with the people. Like one of the stories I often tell, I got lost walking one time, and I was walking by, and a woman came out of a small tiny house with a broom, and she was sweeping out the house it had a dirt floor. And she went out and there was no cement, and she was sweeping the dust off of the path. And I know some of y'all like, oh, that's crazy. But the pride of the fact, for her, it was hers. It was hers. And you could feel it. I felt it as I was watching. She was removing the dust that didn't belong on the dirt that was hers. And I'll never be able to do that here. Never be able to do that here. I take that back. I take that back because one of the things they're not doing over there yet, they're not really paying taxes, so you can see how the streets are and stuff. So we could do that here. I can sweep the dust off my dust. I just got to buy a property. And speaking of that, make sure you become one of those candle lighters. Help support what we are doing. If you are enjoying and if you are eating off of what you are getting here, family. Also, right now I'm in the midst of a fundraiser. We are raising funds for taking our young people to Simba. We will be gone in July, so the young ladies will be leaving at first. I'm thinking it's like early July, and the young men will be gone from the middle to the end, not the end of July. So each camp is about 7 days, right? The total cost for us is about $400. And I'm just asking everybody to do a little bit. Remember, I should have used this proverb today. When we all do a little, no one has to do a lot. And I want to send thanks out to all those that are already supporting, right? Because like I said, once we build back up the candle, the sparks, right? The candle lighters. Once we build this up, I ain't gonna say back because we had something similar in the earlier days, right? Once we build this back up, we'll be able to finance a lot of this because the main reason I do what I do is so that I can provide for events like that and be able to provide a living for those who are dedicated to working with our young people. Family, remember, we have to keep our purpose as a people front and center. Your purpose as an individual front and center. And when we are looking out here in the world for purpose, on purpose, we're going to find it. Family, you are getting in your life what you are getting because you're looking for it. I know you'd be like, Brother, I ain't looking for trouble. I don't know because every time I look for trouble, I find it. When I'm out here looking for these blessings, shit, they come. And this is what's crazy. Like I'm sitting in this house, man, and it's shit going wrong, left and right. But I know ultimately it's working towards my good and my success. What is mine is mine, right? What is for me is mine, right? And I'm like, wow, and it's gonna work out. I told my wife, I said, just be patient. It's gonna work out. All of this is gonna work out, family. And as long as we are in here together, and we are working together, and we are growing because we grow, right? The only way we grow is what? Is if we grow. As we grow, the power that we have will increase. The blessings we have will increase. But along with that will come some of the troubles. The trouble's going to increase too. I just want y'all to know that. I'm not selling no wolf tickets. I already know life be lifing. But as we become better at what we do, right, we become better able to adjust. So I got to go. I got to take Gina to her thing and get over to the office and send this out to the fam. So if you're hearing this, I was successful. If you're not, something happened. This is Brother Tim. I want to thank you for listening, and I am out.